Yes, Mrs. Bumi Omonubi is a professional accountant with over 14 years experience working with diverse organizations across 30 industries in UK, Ghana, USA, and across Nigeria. She has worked with business owners to double their profit. So I believe that everyone here, we don't just want to double our profits, we want to quadruple, in short, 10x our profit. That's the goal this year. And she has also trained senior managers to improve their efficiency, manage tax obligations to ensure effective compliance, and prepare businesses for investment options and partnerships. So if you're looking towards having, investment for your business this year, you want to leverage other people's money to actually grow your business. Sometimes it's not your money that you can't save to grow your business to that multi-billion naira or dollar business you are aiming at. So you need OPM and you need good financial knowledge. So Mrs. Bumi is your go-to and has over 9 years experience in packaging, designing, and delivering trainings targeted at business owners, directors, managers, and accountants, leveraging our experience in servicing over 2,000 clients within 4 years of founding Jotstar Elevated Services, an accounting firm that partner with SMEs to achieve their financial and operational goals. Ms. Omonubi holds a BSc degree in Administration Accounting option from Central University College, Ghana, and MSc in Business Administration from Northumbria University, UK. After a BSc, she was awarded the Best Accounting Student in our academic year group by PricewaterhouseCoopers and ACCA. Ms. Omonubi holds a fundamental certification from ACCA and member of Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMAR, with double designation, Chartered Management Accountant, ACMA, and Chartered Global Management Accountant. So we've got the right person here. So please join me to welcome to this virtual floor the woman who holds multiple certifications that has sharpened her skills in tax, accounting, and strategy design. Currently, she's working with business owners with an annual income of over 20 million naira to 1 billion naira to improve their businesses and business structures, bookkeeping, taxes, and other growth needs. So that is why she's the right person and the best person to handle this topic: business, finance management, and strategic planning. So welcome to the virtual floor. Please, can I see the clapping coming in? Let me speak Yoruba if you understand. I mean, give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you, ma. We can hear you, ma.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. It's just interesting hearing all what you have called. I'm wondering, oh wow, I did all that. But it's just by God's grace. So thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure having everyone here. And I always love to talk to business owners and see how we can how will I call it, make best of our business. I always say that it is good that every month you are taking your business from one level to another, right? So that said, I want to make this session as practical as possible so that you take a few things from this session and be able to use it for your business, right? I feel having this kind of conference in the beginning of the year, the first week of the year, is very good. And you can pick tools from here that you can apply in your business for the first quarter or even throughout the year. So I won't be sharing slides because I don't want to be focusing on the slides. I want to focus on what I am saying. Today is on business finance management and strategic planning for 2025. So it's a It's a double barrel session, right? So I'll take the first part, business finance management. So what's business finance management? Business finance management is, as the word says, managing the finance of your business. That's basically it. So what are the aspects of finance in your business and how can you manage it? So that's what I'll be focusing on in this year. We all know that a number of people in 2024, they experienced bad boosts in their business, right? Things were not working. In fact, some people shut down to just take care of their mental health. People were not finding it for 2024. But what can you do differently this year to be able to manage your finance? That would be the goal, okay? So what areas do you have in your business? There are three things that majorly you use finance in your business. One is your sales, your income, right? And please let me mention here, sales is different from inflow. What do I mean? Sales, revenue, income, right? They are the same thing, but it's different from inflow. So sales is the money you get from running or providing services or products to your customers. So let's say, for example, I don't know the businesses that are on stage now, but let's say you are into, excuse me, you are into the sale of pap, right? When you sell pap to your customers, that is sale, that is revenue, that is income. But if, for example, in your office or in your business, you find out that you want to replace your AC, and you say, okay, the current one, I can sell it, add money to it, and then buy a new AC. So when you sell that AC, the money you get, is not your sale, it's not revenue, right? It's called other income in accounts. So you don't add that to the money you have received. Another example of inflow is when you have, let's say, for example, your uncle, your auntie, your husband, your wife, your whatever gives you money to, to just say, you know what, put this in your business to help you, or you get a loan. Those monies are not revenue, they are not sales, they are inflow. You get a loan from the bank, that is an inflow, it's not revenue. So you need to understand the difference. And when you are now calculating how much you have made in the year, that now tells you how much it should be in terms of revenue. So that's the first level of financials that affects your business. So that's one. The second thing is the cost of providing the service to your business. So the cost of providing the service to your business is the cost that you have to incur to be able to offer that service. So back to PAP, I'm seeing someone hi to farms. So I'm guessing something about farm product. So let's say now you want to farm yam, right? You want to farm yam and sell the yam to your customer. That is what you do. So first, you have to plant the yam. You have to get manure. You get people that will work in your farm, dig the ridges. You have to buy seedlings or whatever they use for yam. I really don't know, right? So you do all that, and then you come to the harvesting. You harvest the yam. You might get packaging materials. You might get all those things. So those things that you are expending on, right, is what you call the cost of sale. Because if you don't do those things, you don't spend on those things, you will not have any product. Then let me use another example for a retail business. So let's say you have a business and you buy, let's say, fashion items and then you sell. The cost of buying the fashion items, the cost of the packaging that you are using, or the labels that you are using, whatever you are using to get the fashion items that you are selling, that is your cost of sale. So that's the second level of expenses. The second level of financials. The third level of financials is the cost of running your business. So this is something you can call operating expenses and all that. So things like staff salary, people that you pay whether they work or not. Rent, utilities, internet, telephone credit, all those things that whether you make any sales or not, you have to spend on. Is called operating expenses. So like your staff that you pay salary, if the staff is on full-time salary, whether they, it's not on performance, not that whether they sell 300 pieces of yam or they sell items or they produce fashion items before they can be paid. No. Whether they produce, they sell or not, you are paying them salary. The same thing with rent. Whether you make 1 naira sale, you make 2 billion naira sales, you are still going to pay your rent. So those kind of expenses are called operating expenses. Those expenses that does not determine whether you are making sales, whether you are making sales or not, right? So that is what you need to have. Okay. So that third level are where most business expenses go into, right? So if you are able to take care of that expense and be able to track that expense well, then you are good. So now we've put the foundation of the 3 financials that affects your business. First, your income. Second, the cost of providing the sales to your customers. And third, the cost of operating your business. So how do you manage these expenses and ensure that at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, you are making sales, you are making profits, sorry, right? So first of all, you want to know what is the minimum amount of income I need to make to be able to break even? Or what is the minimum amount of sales do I need to make to be able to get this level of profit that I want to get every month, every quarter, every year? So that's the first thing you want to know. So you walk, if I would say walk back. So you want to tell yourself, okay, my operating expenses, I cannot do much about it. So I need to make sure I'm covering that from my income. Then the expenses I need to incur to be able to sell. This is what I can do. Maybe you are selling you are selling in bulk, you are buying in bulk. All those things can affect your cost of sales. But at the end of the day, you want to know how much do I need to be able to provide this level of sales or service or product. If you know that, you are able to efficiently manage your finances. So let's start from the beginning. So let's say that at the end of each month, you want to be able to make profit of 5 million. So you want to ask yourself, how much operating expenses does my business carry now? So first thing first, you need to be able to run your bookkeeping or your accounts properly. So you should be able to know, okay, how much do I spend on salary? Do I spend on telephone credits? How much do I spend on internet? Do I spend on transport? Know all those expenses. Because if you know those expenses, then you can now say, okay, if my total operating expenses is 10 million, then I have to ensure I am making more than 10 million at least. After I take away the cost of getting those products I want to sell, I have to make 15 million. So if you make 15 million, then you are able to make 5 million after taking away your operating expenses. So that is how you manage your financials. Another way of managing your financials is that, okay, I want to be able to sell 20 million worth of products per month, for example, and it will cost me 15 million to be able to make or get those products I need to sell. So do I have the money right now to be able to buy the items I need to be able to sell the money to make the income I want to make? So with that question, you can now say, okay, I do not have the money. How do I make the money? Because you need to get to that point and then ask yourself, oh, you just realize that you don't have the money. No, you have to know what you need before that time comes. That is managing your finance. Okay, so you now find out that, okay, I need 15 million to be able to produce or sell, excuse me, you need 15 million to be able to sell that volume of items you want to sell per month. So, but you only have 10 million. So where would you get the remaining 5 million from? That is where your thinking hat will come in. Is it from my spouse? Is it from my father? Is it from the bank? If it's from the bank, can I afford the interest rate plus what I already have? If I have the interest rate, will I make the profit I want to make? So that is how you manage. To do this, you will need a budget, because it's a budget that will tell you what you would need at what point in time. For example, you might say, I want to sell this level quantity of flour. And then you realize that at this point of selling additional 50% level of flour, you would need an equipment. That now tells you that, let's say in March, in April or May, I would need to get an equipment with this size of production. So that is what your budget is. So if you don't have a budget, please ensure you get one before the end or middle of January. If you need help preparing the budget, we have options that you can reach out to me to achieve or to get, right? So you need a budget. Then you need bookkeeping. You want to be able to track that, okay, this is what you have planned. I want to make 25 million of sales. What did I actually make? Then why did I not make the 25 million that I project? See, one thing is planning that you want to make something. Another thing is actually doing that plan that you've made. But it has to be strategic. It can't be willing it, if that makes sense, or wishing it, right? You have to be strategic about it. So you want to ask yourself, I projected to make 25 million per month. I only made 15 million. What can I do to get my business to make 25 million? What did I do that I made 15 million? Can I multiply that effort? Can I multiply that effort to be able to give me that level of performance, right? So that is how you manage your financials. So you need to know actually what you are doing and compare it with your budget every month or every quarter, maximum every quarter. You want to say, my total revenue is this. I projected this. What lessons can I learn from that to improve my next quarter? But if, for example, you achieve the goal that you projected, what can I do to even do it more? That means maybe when you were doing your budget, you were too low. You need to come up. So maybe the next quarter, you want to push up what you've projected for, because you have more in you that you can ever achieve, right? So that is managing your financials. We are very short in time, but I want to give time for questions. So I'm going to rush through the second part. So we've talked about the business financial model, the business financial management, right? So now, strategic planning. Strategic planning is what I just started with now. So you want to plan and say, okay, 2025, what do I want to achieve? So you need, first of all, you need an accounting software or a tool to help you to achieve that goal. So how do you do that? It's either we have free accounting softwares. We have Zoho, which you have a bookkeeping for free. You can use Excel. So there are various options that you can use for planning. So if you use that option, then you now have to track it. But what are the things that you need to plan strategically for 2025? One, you want to plan your operations. So if you say you want to be able to sell this level of products, do you have the staff or the support system to be able to do that? So let's say in 2025, 2024, you let's say you did trainings. Let me go to services now. Talking about products. So you are a service business and you give trainings. So you gave 5 trainings in 2024, for example. And this year you want to double the number of trainings you give. So how do you have the structure? Let's say you have kids. Do you have the ability to be able to make sure that your home is, because we are women here, your home is taken care of whilst you are available to give the trainings? Because believe me, you women, we have a lot that is going on. We have either husbands, we have parents, we have children, we have siblings taking care of, so many things outside work. So how are you ensuring that you are balancing your life and still be able to do business? Because if you have young kids and you want to be going around doing trainings, but you know that your child is not in a safe place because maybe it's something that just sprung on you, your mind is not fully there. So you need to have a foundation of planning for that, strategic planning. Then you achieve those additional trainings that you said you want to do? You did 4 or 5 last year. You want to double or triple that this year. How do you go about ensuring that you can actually get 10 or 15 this year? Who do you need to speak to? How do you need to approach them? Which meetings, workshops, things do you need to attend to be able to see those opportunities? Who do you need to put in your corner to be able to achieve these opportunities? That's strategic planning. Then, how much are you going to charge per those sessions or those trainings? So you need to break it down. So what I'm saying is you need to break down everything that you need to do, put the value of money to it, cost it right, and then start working on it. Believe me, things does not just happen. You have to plan it. Things that just happen as a fluke does not last. So you need to be able to ensure that you have planned things. Of course, we are humans, we cannot see the future, but the more you plan, the better you are able to achieve, right? So I'm going to say this before I round up, because I want to be able to give opportunity for questions. The last part I want to talk about when it talks to strategic planning is your tax management. See, even if you have been in, I don't know, in the moon since the beginning of last year, 2024, you will know that the government of Nigeria, they are taking tax very seriously. So if you know you want to do business and they're not giving you stress, they're not going to be bothered about any tax person writing you a letter and all that, you need to take your tax compliance very seriously. The cost of non-compliance is very expensive, and it is up to 500,000 per time. That's for LRS if you are in Lagos. But for FIRS, which is nationwide, every month you do not file. By the way, I said file, I didn't say pay. Every month you do not file your tax, it is 50,000. And every month after that is 25,000. So just imagine, for only 3 months that you do not file your tax, you can pay up to 300,000. That is even if you have no tax to pay, because there's a level you don't pay any tax. There are services or products that you don't pay any tax on. For example, medical services and products. So these products and services, you do not pay tax on them, but you still have to file. I always tell businesses, within 6 months of registering your business, you have to file or get your team. If you don't get your team within 6 months of registering with CAC, you have a penalty. And then when you get your team, even though you make money or not, you have to file. If not, there's going to be a penalty for you. So please note this so that you don't use all your profits that you don't even know if you are making to pay liability, right? So you want to ensure that you are compliance with your tax. If you need help with all that, knowing which tax is relevant to your business and all that, please let me know and I would help you with that. Well, please, there will I say free gifts and special offers today that the convener is going to share for only those that are attending, please, because if not, I would not be able to keep up. So for those that are attending, they would have a special offer for basic things that would help them. The convener is going to talk about it. I don't know at what point. For those who are attending. So please take opportunity of it and get your business to where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to pause here and ask for questions by which every business here the very best in 2025. So if you have any questions, either raise your hands or type a message and I'll get to it maybe in 5 or 10 minutes. Is that okay? Zita Flux. Florence, is that fine?
Yes, ma, that is fine. Please, let's have your questions. You can just raise your hands or unmute and speak. Yes. Okay, we have a comment here from Regina, who is a certified public accountant. She said it is important that business owners know how to differentiate their sales from profit. It is also necessary that businesses have a good knowledge of concept of replacement costing, especially when their products are sold to supermarkets or to such outlets that don't pay at point of delivery of product. They should monitor granted to customers. Thank you for sharing that with us. So please make sure you fill the feedback form, because with this the attendance form, this will help us to reach you, with the gifts and the special offer that we have for you, specifically for those who actually attended this meeting. Okay, we have Sage Delight.
Okay.
I would love to know more about how tax works. Please, Ma, can you throw more light on how tax works?
Okay, since Sage Delight is the one that has asked the question, can you tell me what you do so that I can streamline my answer to your business, because it differs. What is tax filing? Okay, whilst I wait for the feedback for Sage Delight, so tax filing is when you have, let's say for FRS, there's a platform called Tax Pro Max that you file all FIRS taxes. So all the FIRS taxes are filed on that platform. So tax filing means you are telling the tax office how much revenue you have made. You might or might not pay. So one thing is filing, another thing is paying. So filing is uploading your sales and the people you have made the sales to in your business for that month. So the regulation says the sales for 1 month is filed on or before the 21st of the next month. So for example, if you made a sale in January, 250,000, that 250,000 should be filed before 21st of February, the next month, right? So it's not necessarily paying the tax, but actually filing. And seriously, it is not filing that the penalty is. You might not pay anything, but if you don't file, you might have penalty in that. So that's the difference. It's basically just uploading your sales. There's a form that you fill to upload your sales on Tax Pro Max. So if your business is registered on Tax Pro Max, you need to register it first before you can now start filing your FRS or your VAT on there. Even withholding tax for FRS, if you're a limited liability company, you also can file your company income tax on Tax Pro Max, uploading your account. So that's filing, basically. I hope that answers your question. Who asked the question? Miss Francesca. Okay, so Sage, like currently working on launching a business, an online food store. I'm yet to get the business registers though, looking to between the okay. So Sage, like in fact, God brought you here. And God helped you to ask this question. So let's start from the beginning. Registering a business. So there are three major type of businesses you can register mainly. So one is an enterprise, and the second one is limited liability, and the third is NGO, so non-for-profit, right? So the enterprise is similar to you. The tax compliance, the tax compliance for enterprise is very simple. Is cheaper than when you for other ones, right? You don't need to file your VAT every month. You are good. So the second one is limited liability. Limited liability, according to the tax laws, legal standing, is separate from you. Limited liability is like a person of its own. It can get an asset and all that. And it reduces the liability of that company to just what the company has. So if your business is very sensitive to high liability, you want to get a limited liability. But if not, and you're just starting, you want to start with an enterprise and you can later upgrade to a limited liability. The third one is NGO, so not for profit. You're not sharing profit. You're not making profits for your business per se, because even if you make excess of income over expenditure, you are putting it back into your business. So you want to know that, right? And then you are a food business. Food business is a very interesting thing because you need to be tight on your inventory. I need to be tight on your production. You want to know if I get a bag of rice or I get tomatoes, what will it give me? What should a scoop or a spoon of rice cost me? If I'm doing food packs or soup packs, what would a bowl of 2 liter egusi soup, for example, cost me? Right? So you have to be very careful as a food store or as a food business with doing that. So check your inventory and check that. So with tax now, your question was, how would tax affect you? How does it work? So your business, because it's cooked food. So I put it this way, raw meat is not taxable, but cooked meat is taxable, right? So that's how interesting our tax law is. So because you are having a food business that's cooked food, it's taxable. Right now with the law, you can you don't need to pay any tax if you are making less than 25 million. But of course, you need to file. So you need to know where your business, 25 million in the year, not per month, in the year, as income, not as profits. Please know the difference. So people are not making profit of that. No, it's not profits, but how much you are making as sales. If it's less than 25 million in the year or an average of 2 million in a month, then you don't need to pay. But if it's above, you need to pay VAT. So you need to charge the VAT and pay VAT. Also for food businesses, there are other taxes you need to consider, right? And then you have staff that is earning above 70,000, which is the minimum tax with the current law. You need to be paying your staff tax. If not, you'll be in trouble, right? So you need to look at all those things. But what I would say is this. When you're registering your business or you are trying to make plans for your business financial, speak to a consultant. You can book a 30 minutes, 1 hour session with me, for example, to be able to talk this through. And I'll be able to look at your operations and even advise you properly so that you are not making any mistake, right? Even the way you operate your business bank account is also very important when it comes to tax, right? So that's that. I don't want to talk too much, and I hope this explanation also help other businesses. I have registered on tax format, but not LS. I'm not into diagnostic health. I'm into okay. So it depends on what you are, the diagnostic health. So for I don't want to kill this name, so I'm gonna say Moshood. For Moshood, you are into diagnostic health facilities. So it's a medical service. You do not pay tax, but you still have to file. Since you are registered, note that even if you don't go on Tax Promax, every month you have an automatic upload of VAT to file. So you need to go and file that VAT, right? not on LRS. If your business salary is above 70,000 for any staff, you need to go and register on e-tax or get someone to register for you and then start remitting, deducting and remitting. Of course, compute the pay and do that, right? This is a good time to get all this settled. I have not filed any LRS, but I pay director's tax. So every year you're supposed to do that. So if you have staff, you need to sort that out. Please, can you mute so that I answer all the questions on the chat and those who are raising up their hands or want to talk and then talk after. It's nice having Madam Bumi on board. It's a business development inspired to appreciate the meeting. Thank you very much, Prestige. What happens to a business that has not been filing and wants to start the statutory tax to be filed? I am HR consulting and also produce. Okay, so Ebele Alaka. So in your question, if you've not been filing, let's assume that you are not in the radar of FRS, just start filing. And hopefully the tax office your team is registered in is not the one that are principalities and powers. And that's what I call them, some tax officer principalities and powers, basically. So let's hope that that's not the case, because some of these people, they would put liability. So we have to normally have a conversation where we are negotiating that to clear that, because if some tax offices, they are just wicked, they will want you to pay the liability before they register you. And the longer you don't register, the more penalties you get. So I would say maybe reach out to us and let's see your team, the tax office, and advise you what to do. We can start the process. If there's any head blocks or roadblocks, we'll know how to do that. The same thing with LRS. So if you have staff that are above that, you also have that situation. Sorry, 1 second. I am related to your voice. Sorry, can you hear me? Okay. So consulting and also so that's a service business. So you want to make sure, okay, so let me put it this way. For HR services, there are some services that I don't know the details of your HR, but we have clients that are into HR and they provide some services that are they pay for some things. They pay for some things that
They pay for some things that are
sorry, that are not their service. So they can have an invoice, maybe a line item is to pay for something for them, maybe a subscription or something, depending on what you were doing. So that service or that thing you are doing on behalf of the client is not taxable, right? So you have to be very mindful as a service business when you are even as a product business, sometimes they say cake business, they will say deliver from, they'll pay you the delivery. Delivery money is not your money, right? Or they tell you buy drinks and just add to the things, or buy candles and add to the things, but that's not your sales. So you need to be very mindful to know which is your sales and which is not your sales. So when you are filing your tax, you only file what is your sales, right? So service business generally you need to take into consideration. Say thank you very much, Ma. Yes, thank you. Also, what are the fines for not filing? So I said 50,000. So for VAT, 50,000 the first month, and every month you do not file 25,000. So let me give you an example. So let's say for December tax, you do not file your December tax, right, in January. That January that you don't file it, you have a penalty of 50,000. If you still do not file in February for your December tax, you have 25,000. In March, you not still filed your December tax, you have 25,000. So that's 50,000 for not filing your December alone. 100,000, sorry. Then January, you have not filed your January tax. So in February, you have 50,000. So that means for January and February and December, you have not, for December and January, you have not filed. You have now 50,000 and then you have 25,000. So for just that 3 months, you can see how much, for just 2 months you did not file, you can see how much penalty you have amassed. And this can be for a business that you do not even have any tax to pay because you are exempted. Like, for example, the medical business here, you don't have any tax to pay, but because you did not file, you have 50,000 for December, 50,000 for January, 25,000 times 3, right? So that's 150,000 that you have not, that you have as penalty because you did not file a tax that you have nothing to pay, right? So continue calculating like that, and you see what it's like for those. No, you don't pay tax. Udoma Francesca, you don't pay tax as an NGO, but you still have to file. Yes, we can. I don't know. Yes, we can for what? Okay. What happens to a business that has not been filing now? Oh, okay. I think I've answered that question. Get your free. Okay. So for I see Richard Okemute hands up. Do you have a question? I think I'm done with the questions on the chat.
Yeah, I have a question. Good afternoon. Thank
Good
you
afternoon.
thank you for the knowledge impact so far. So my question is, whenever we hear the word tax, right, it comes with a negative connotation. So like the government always taking away from us. But really, what are the benefit of taxing? Right? That's one
Okay.
of the questions. On
Okay.
basically on an individual level, let's say an individual A is actually into tech, right? So he's a tech entrepreneur, so he doesn't have any physical space per se, and doesn't really have like an employee that he pays 70,000 and above, but do makes recurrent profit and all that. Is that person expected to make any tax or file any tax as well? So two questions. One about the
benefits. Yeah. Okay. So let me start from the last question. So if you have a business registered with CAC, you are expected to file tax, irrespective of where you are doing your business from. It can be your home, it can be an office, it can be a shared space. If you are making income and you started business and you are registered with CAC, you are expected to file your tax. And within 6 months of registering your business, you are supposed to get a TIN and start filing, right? So the answer to your question is yes. Even if you don't have a start that is you are paying above 70,000, but you are making sales, and to top it up, you are making profits, you need to be filing your tax. So that's the answer to question 2. Question 1, benefits. I love this question because when I tell people about tax, they're like, what government doing for me? So I love this question. So if you want to, let's say, for example, outside Nigeria, right? The taxes are used for what it's supposed to be used for. But if you are in Nigeria and you want to get grants, you need to show proof of tax compliance, whether it's your personal tax clearance or your business tax clearance if you're a limited liability company. So you cannot get funding as from grants if you don't have your tax clearance. 2, if you want to get a partner, whether local or international, they want to be sure that you don't have any liability that they would be surprised with when they come in. And if you are not compliant, they definitely would see that is a liability. And for you to file your accounts with FRS, it means that first, you've done your management account. Second, you've audited if you're a limited liability company, because that's where partnership comes in, except you are an enterprise and they are not giving share, they're just giving profit sharing, right? So it helps to improve the ability or your chance of getting partners, of getting grants. Also, in Lagos State or even anywhere, but particularly in Lagos State, because I stay in Lagos, when you have your personal tax done and you have your tax clearance, if there's any issue on the road, especially with those, what's the color of their, is it yellow or I don't know? You are able to show that and it helps you. When you want to get any kind of contracts or whatever from Lagos State or from any state, they would ask you for your personal tax clearance or your business tax clearance if you are a limited liability company for you to be able to get it. So there are opportunities that you are able to access if you are tax compliant. Then we live in a country where tax is now bread and butter. So instead of using your money to pay liability, don't you think it would be better to pay to ensure that you are compliant and avoid the liability? Those are just a few benefits you can get from being compliant with your taxes. I hope I answered your questions, both questions well.
Yeah, you did. So how would the government actually know if you're not filing correctly?
Okay, so FRS has access to every business bank account. Even the ones that you did not fully use or you did not fully open. Let me give you a story. One of our service is being the, how will I call it? Being the face of businesses when FRS audit them. So I was communicating and trying to broker and resolve the situation for this particular client. And they kept saying in their messages, in their meetings, that the client has a Zenith bank account. And the client kept insisting, I do not have a Zenith. I never used a Zenith bank account. Months after, when we were still in the case, because we are going back and forth, you don't have. The client now later remembered after 2 months that they started opening a business bank account in Zenith, but it had challenges and they did not even put 1 naira. They didn't finish the process. But FRS had access to that bank account, even when they did not finish the process. So what I'm saying in this story is that FRS knows everything that is happening in your business bank account. And you have your BVN attached to your business bank account as a business owner. So they can indirectly have access to your account. So don't think that there's anything that is hidden from FRS. It's only LRS that do not have access to that particular thing, but they have contacts. And the government right now is looking at unifying everything so they can go to FRS contact and get all your details, and they can tell you that. So when you are lying, you're just smiling. I've gone to the audit session before when they told me this client is making at least 10 million per month. And I was like, oh, no. And they're like, madam, we know this. So I was like, are you calculating the money you are seeing? Because I know that they have access. So are you calculating the amount of money you are seeing as coming in? Because not everything that's coming in is their money. They also get loans. So you have to be careful with that, right? So just know that they know what is in your business. They have access to every business bank account. So that's how they know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Ms. Florence, am I good?
Thank you very much. Okay, we have another, maybe last question. And somebody is asking, I saw a question here before we go. She's asking about how she can go about registering a business. Yes, and now we have another question, which will be the last one. Is it advisable to have multiple bank accounts in order to access different bank products from different quarters?
Okay. So the first question, if you want to register your business, please reach out. We also help with that. I would need to understand your business to advise on which one to start with or to register with. So reach out to me. So that's that. I can't share, it's quite wide and I need to streamline to suit your business and your operations. So that's that. Multiple bank accounts in order to access different bank products. Yes, it's good. I have people who do that. I have people who do that, and it has benefits, yes. But with assessing some products, you need to be able to know that there are requirements, right? So when you are assessing, let's say Access Bank now, they give a lot of funding to businesses that are led by women, whether it's auto service, car loan, different things with Access Bank, for example. So if you are doing that, make sure that your business there is active. It's to the level of your use and all that also attracts us. Yes, they can use other bank accounts to access your income. So that's one. But know that when you have multiple bank accounts and you are moving money from one place to another, it's costly, because that's bank charges and reducing the value of your service. Like I always say to people who like maybe event planners, that they will pay you a big amount of money and then you use that money to settle different vendors. Those are bank charges that you need to take into consideration when you are billing and doing your service fee. So yes, it's good, but whether it is multiple or single, when it comes to tax, the tax officer knows every one of them. But yes, do. But when you are done with that, please try and streamline your activities. The more bank accounts you have, the more it's expensive to run it. So be mindful of that and balance that. Okay. So I think that is all. If your business is used for personal account transaction, my sister, you are increasing your personal income tax. You are increasing your personal income tax. Some people think that, oh, I'm trying to hide my money from the business, from FRS, so they now receive money for their personal accounts. If you're an enterprise or you want to do your personal tax clearance, it will be increasing your personal tax. But with business, you can deduct so many expenses. So you are literally messing your financials up. And two, if you want to get grants, you want to get funding, you want to take a opportunity of some opportunities like what the last person just talked about, you will not be able to show your traction. And it doesn't show that your place is well structured when money is being spent from your personal account. So please structure it. You don't want to try and be pleasing Peter, meanwhile you are harming Paul, right? I hope that helps. Okay, so thank you everybody. Thank you for your interactions and questions. I'm going to hand over to Ms. Florence now. Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, this is one of the most I mean, starting the year with this is actually one of the most important thing, and best gifts someone can actually receive in their business. Yeah, so what do you have to say to Mrs. Bumi? Please drop your chat. Okay, for Eniola Moses, please ma'am, how do I reach you? So for every one of us that we actually fill the form, so wherever you're connected from, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, just drop your email address. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, drop your email address so that we can contact you. We want to know those who are actually participating, because we have a gift for you from our speakers today. So basically, it's power.
Thank you for watching this training video. I believe you've gotten value from this training. Please do well to share your feedback with us. We want to hear from you. And if you have any question, feel free to drop it here or contact the details here.